Recording right now. It's live. Okay, we're live now. Okay, guys, so today's topic is getting hired. That's a huge topic. You already know that probably. Why listen to me and why I am presenting this topic to you? So, shortly about me, I have 8 years of experience hiring staff for numerous organizations and projects. For all sorts of roles, pretty much, I hired developers to teams, I hired salespeople, I hired editors, I hired artists of all kind of sorts, besides just game development as well. When I say developers, by the way, I mean programmers, I mean level designers, I mean artists, I mean all the roles that participate in the development of a game. Okay, we are speaking about game development here. Next, over the years, I was responsible for intake of over 1,000 employees. You guys love GameReady, and it's because we have great employees, so it means that we know how to hire. And I will share a bit of the inner knowledge that you guys can utilize to understand how you can get hired to different companies, not just to GameReady, by the way. We're not speaking about GameReady. You will understand how to get hired correctly and how to, well, prepare for it in the right way. We also consult game development companies on the matter of hiring, so it's not just our pipeline of hiring, it's also pipeline of many other companies that we have consulted, and we understand how the pipeline works across the industry. Right. Artie McLaughlin here, CEO of GameReady, by the way. Okay. This slides, is a huge topic. I'll boil it down for you in one presentation. It has around 80% to 99% of what you actually need to get hired. So no need to overkill it. You don't need to spend numerous hours or days or weeks to prepare for interviews. I will give you now really almost all the information you need, or all the information you need to actually, get hired efficiently. It's not a shortcut. You still have to do your work and prepare for it, but you will understand how to in a moment, or a few moments, or many minutes. Let's start, guys. So the first subtopic is supply and demand, right? So what's that? Some already know what's that. I will anyway explain it shortly so everyone is aligned and we have common terminology here, I would say. So first of all, you are a supplier, okay? That's a very important understanding to have. You as a developer, you are a supplier of a company. You supply services, okay? Products, services, doesn't matter. You are supplying value to the company. Now, company is some sort of your customer. What we care about here is that they are your demanders. It means that they demand some value, not from you. They demand value. They need value. For example, a development studio, they need developers. They need development manpower. You are supplying this skill to them, right? If you are rare, it means that the demanders, the companies that require your rare skill set, they will want to target you to hire you, or your competitors, which are other suppliers, other developers, which also can supply that kind of service, of a development service, right? If you are rare, you have higher chance of getting accepted to a position because there are just fewer options for the companies to choose from, okay? So what does it mean? It means that if you are having a very general skill and you are looking for a job, many jobs will look for the skill potentially, but there's also a lot of competition. Good luck getting hired among all of those people. It's possible, it takes time, it's possible, yes, of course, but it's not in your interest to be in the general public, to be in a big segment of variety. You should strive to be rare. Next, what is actually rarity? So it's combined from, well, a general experience that you have and particular experience that you have, but experience nonetheless. What I mean by that? So you have a general experience, like for example, being employed. Being employed means you have experience, work experience, being, well, in the position, right, in the industry, doing something. So if you're, let's say, an artist, and you are, let's say, making 3D models for a company, okay, it means you're already counting some experience. Not speaking about years, by the way. It's years. It's also your results. We'll speak about it a bit later in the next slides in this session. But in general, if you are going to, well, apply to another job, for example, that doesn't require 3D, but it requires, let's say, 2D, but also for games, you know? All right, they do take into account your experience in 3D production. Okay, although it's not what they're looking for, they do take into account that. Now, on the other hand, if you're a 3D artist and you're working for a game development company, and then you're getting interviewed for, let's say, movie production company that also wants 3D artists, they also take into account the fact that you've made 3D before, even if it's a different industry. They do care about that, right? Because it signifies to them that you are capable, at least to some extent. Now, there's also the particular experience, the niche experience. It means how our experience, you are specifically in the skill that they are hiring for, okay? So they're hiring for game development, a 3D artist. Yeah, they care about how good you are in 2D, they care about your 3D experience in other industries, but they mainly care about 3D experience in game development. Maybe want to be even more niche. Game development, 3D for, let's say, cartoon, candy-like games, okay? That's super niche. But if you have experience in that, that's cool. That's very good for you to get hired there. I mean, that's very good for you, for your case, and your ability to prove to them that you're capable and you're fitting the job, right? So that's your rarity. Understand your rarity, and your rarity is actually relative to the company that you apply for. So you can be very rare and very valuable for one company, and you can be very unvaluable and undesired for a different company because they just don't look for your skill set. So try to find a match, right? Too rare is bad. Okay, nobody needs specialists in Christmas zombie 2D platformers. It's just not a genre. If you have experience in such a niche thing, there's just no job, no demand in that, right? No jobs in that. If there will be, wow, cool, you're lucky, you can get hired. I hope for you that it's forever, or you have a plan B, because if you are leaving the company later on, that's not a very comfy situation to be in, right? So don't be too rare. Be rare enough and find a niche that is actually compatible with, with the demand that is going on in the world. Don't be too niche, have a variety, have options. Okay, don't build your skill set for a particular company if you're not gonna get hired there. And by the way, it's the most chances are that you're not gonna get hired in the place that you originally wanted or so. Not because you're bad or not because you're not fitting them or something. It's just because maybe they just hire someone faster than they see your portfolio, for example. It may happen, Different companies have different logistics on that. So don't build all your expectations and all your plan around just one place, okay? Be compatible with numerous places, not too many places, because then you're not rare and they will just not want you because of that, okay? Find a sweet spot. Next. Specialty versus generalism. Okay, so specialty is very, very connected, very related to the concept of niche, of being niche, right? If you're knowing some particular niche, it means that you're a specialist in that niche. Of course, if you're good in that niche, right? Being generalist means knowing a lot, broad variety of skills, broad pool of skills, but not being very good in particular in some particular niche, right? Now, what's better? So actually, the demand for many years, and already for many years, and probably for many years to come, is going to be mainly specialists, okay, not generalists. Because a company is better off hiring a very good 3D artist, a very good level designer, a very good programmer, than hiring 3 generalists that know all of those topics, okay? Companies are just better off hiring the particular specialists, even if maybe for part-time job, by the way, right? So, when being a generalist is actually good, 2 cases. One case is if you're being interviewed to a position of a manager, or if you're being promoted inside the company to a position of a manager, team leader, development leader, development manager, right, CTO. So people in managerial positions, they should be aware of all the processes in the pipeline of the production of the game. So there being generalist is a valuable thing. But please understand that if you are still starting your path as a developer, you're not gonna get hired as a manager. So you should start from being a specialist in the first place. If you're not yet a specialist, you should be. It's in your interest. Oh, do whatever you think, do whatever you want. But I highly recommend going into the specialist direction. Now, afterwards, you can switch to a broader and generalistic sense if you want to get into the managerial administrative direction. But this is something that is kind of a level 2, all right? By the way, not the only level 2. You can just be a specialist, which is more specialist, or just a better one, a more professional one, right? So it's just a bifurcation. You can go in either direction. None is better than the other. It's very dependent on what you want to deal with, pretty much. Next, international, not local. What do I mean by that is that the industry, the supply and demand, is international. It's not constrained to a particular country, okay? So stop thinking about the work industry as a local industry. We are in game development. It's a highly online industry, right? The players are all over the world. I have a blog post on that. I can link it to you guys later on. So I won't get into too much details here, but please understand that supply and demand is also international. It means that you should look at the companies worldwide and understand what the requirements from the companies worldwide is, not what's local. Next, there are a few specific points about artists, so a few notes for artists. By the way, it's also important for other roles, but most important for artists. So, first thing, experience levels are a big thing. What I mean by that is that if you compare, for example, artists and programmers, okay? When I say artists, by the way, I mean all kinds of artists, really, okay? It can be sound engineers, can be level art, it can be 3D art, 2D art, concept art, okay? Less pronounced for level designers, by the way, but still is pronounced. So, experience levels are a big thing. It is, compared to programmers, it is harder to get employed when you're a newbie still. When you're still a newbie, or you're still an early mid-level, it's harder to get employed. But then, after you are getting experienced, closer to mid-level plus or before senior, again, this is just broad classification. Different companies, they have their own classifications. Don't get locked on all that junior, mid-level, senior terminology. It's very unique per company, really. So when you get into a mid-level plus, somewhere closer to senior, to a good artist, okay, production ready, really good quality, not compromising quality, but good quality, suddenly it becomes much easier to find a job. Suddenly. Okay, why is that? Because the demand in art is mainly for good art, okay? There is not so much demand for entry-level artists. Why? Because entry-level art is more often bad art, okay? Let's face it. Until you have good results, you have a long way to go to improve your art from being bad to being mediocre, and then to be somewhat okay, and then to be good, and then awesome and all that, right? But at least good. Otherwise, why would they pay you? Why wouldn't they just take a good artist and pay him, an experienced one, you know? So you have a path to go. Of course, if you work on it, you will dedicate your time and efforts, you will get good, okay? Long road. For programmers, it's somewhat easier, by the way, because an entry-level programmer has still a lot of value he can give to development team. Not a lot, but he has some. Okay, so he can already be useful to a team somewhat in some particular tasks. Artists also have such tasks they could do, but very, very restrained. It's a very low amount of tasks. Something I would recommend to artists on entry level, by the way, is to look very nicely into the direction of low poly, because low poly actually doesn't require so high skill to look good. Okay, so work on making it good look good. Make it look good. Okay, that's the main thing. Now, be unique. What do I mean by that? Is that if you're just, making average art, which is very, very similar to kind of an average thing that goes on in the industry right now, which is actually hard to classify because there's no such thing as an average. It really depends on which direction you're looking to, right? Different games are realistic, low poly, cartoony, whatever. So try to still be somewhat unique. Try to be different from most artists. Develop your own art style, okay? Don't be constrained just to it, but at least develop your own style and build up your uniqueness. As I spoke about in the previous few slides, there is the rarity, right? So that's your rarity as an artist. Unreal Engine is a valuable skill for an artist as well, not just for programmers. Level designers obviously use Unreal Engine on a daily basis, but 3D artists and 2D artists also can utilize Unreal Engine and know a bit of the pipeline, because it is good when you are trying to get employed. It is good for you to know some Unreal Engine, because most of the artists don't know Unreal Engine. So by you knowing this, it's actually already putting you in somewhat, at least in some aspect, in the top percentage, let's say top 20% or so of the applicants, okay? Around 20% or so know at least some Unreal Engine. I would say around 20%. It's pretty accurate up to 2024 now. Speaking from the data we gathered, by the way, not some data available online. Maybe it is available somewhere. Next, a few specific points for Unreal programmers. So, guys, first of all, nobody cares about your Blender skills. Okay, take a second. Nobody cares about your Blender skills if you're a programmer. If they hire you for programming, they want you to write code. Okay, do the coding stuff, do the programming stuff. They don't hire you for Blender or for Maya or for whatever other skill, or for music production. Okay, I'm a musician, right? Okay, I'm also a programmer. If I get interviewed to a programming position, they don't care about my musical background. It's fine. It's fair. You're not gonna make art for them. You're not a generalist, you're a specialist. Okay, so do your specialist thing. By the way, same for artists, right? Artists, nobody care about how you write code. Sometimes, yeah, there are some reasons for that. Yeah. By the way, I forgot one thing a few slides back. If we go here, specialty versus generalism, one more note. I said there are two reasons why it could be useful. One is, we said, managerial positions. And another one is actually rare positions, rare roles, such as technical artists. Somewhat rare, because there you actually need to be somewhat of a generalist. You need to know art and you need to know code, for example, to actually make your job possible. So you're specialist by being generalist somewhat. generalist. You are becoming specialist as a result. But it's for specific roles, okay? Or no, stuff like, for example, if you're programming audio systems. So having some musical theory background and coding background helps you to actually be in that position, right? Okay. Next, blueprints versus C++. So what's having a bigger demand? C++ has a higher demand versus supply ratio than blueprints. What does it mean? It means that most of the programming positions in Unreal Engine, they are actually blueprint oriented, okay? Less of them are C++. But if you compare it with the supply, with the available blueprinters and available C++ programmers, there's actually a shortage of C++, a much higher shortage in C++. So it's harder to hire a C++ programmer. Now in practice, it's a C++ programmer in Unreal is someone that knows both blueprints and C++. It's a rarer supply than a programmer that orients around blueprints solely. Now, does it mean that you absolutely must study C++? No, it doesn't mean it. You can also do a career with just blueprints. Many of the developers in Unreal are getting hired for just blueprint positions. It's fine. But if you consider C++, then consider it also for the reason of getting easier time getting employed and also somewhat higher salaries potential. Next. Okay. What versus how? What I mean by that is programming is not just about getting stuff done, it's also about how you get stuff done, okay? You wrote code, it works, okay, cool. What's behind the scenes? Is it optimized? Maybe it's not, maybe it absurdly takes almost all the available resources of the computer. It matters, okay? How you call your functions in the code, your variables and stuff. Maybe it's incompatible with how the companies work. Maybe it's just unreadable, it's unbearable for the manager or for the QA or for the team members to work with you. So the fact that it works, it doesn't mean that it's end of story. No, it matters a lot also how it works, okay? So that's also a big thing. And if you are able to prove in the interview that your code is not just getting stuff done, but also that you're having good code ethics, that's a big point. Payment is for work, not for studying, okay? For some it may be obvious, but actually many people, they think that they might get hired to a job that will want them long term, that will subsidize for them the studying, will invest in teaching them, when they can't produce any value whatsoever. They are still newbies, and so the company will invest in them so they will grow up and then will become useful and then will pay back by good work. It's so rare that it happens. It's so rare. It just doesn't. And if it happens, then it happens, not either. It happens because the company combines it with some astronomically bad contract, okay, or Nazi contract that will say, hey, like we subsidize for you the education, then you must stay for whatever, 10 years in the company or something like that, okay? So this is a very problematic topic. Like why the company would actually pay for your education? They can hire someone who already passed the education, who already finished the education, and can just come and start working. Companies need employees. They hire when they actually are lacking some skill, right? So they want you to come inside and start delivering that skill as soon as possible. They don't want to start teaching you. That's not their job. It's our job, right? We're the training center. It's our job to train you, okay? So don't apply to study in a company. Apply to work. And yes, you will learn from that. You will get experience from that. It's good. It's crazy, but it's a side effect. Company doesn't want you for that reason, for studying. Next. So, proving the skills. How you can prove the skills? First is presentation matters. Okay, so I put this picture here and I will explain why. This is a picture of a Caesar salad. Okay, this is a Caesar salad. It has all the ingredients of a Caesar salad, but it doesn't look like a salad, right? Why? So what we made here is we took the Caesar salad and we decomposed it. We understand which components it's made of, and we present each component separately, right? Now it's very easy to actually look at it and see, okay, so it has lettuce, it has bread, it has chicken, blah 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 blah. We can actually see the components, right? We can see, okay, the chicken looks good, it looks juicy, the lettuce looks fresh, no black spots, blah blah blah, right? It's also looking professional. Like, I see what you did there, right? So the chef actually made a bit of extra effort, okay? So it's good. When you show it to an interviewer, what he can deduce from that is that, okay, you go the extra mile, you actually care about the presentation, you care that it's looking good, right? You care to present to him the features, the isolated features that you made. So you developed or you modeled, for example, different 3D assets, and you present, okay, how it looks under this light. What's the normal map? How's the mesh geometry goes on? And pretty much this way, you can show the interviewer that you're serious, and also show him what's your skill actually is, right? So that's the isolated features. And also, you should present the final product. So if you're making a salad, show the salad as well. Don't just show the ingredients, also show the salad. So you can show both, really, is the best. So if it's, in our case, in game development, it might be a level, for example, a game level in Unreal, or it can be the final game, right? So you took part in some game development, show the final game, and also show what features you have developed for that game, right? Spotlight them. Next, nobody reads your mind. Means that if you know that you developed something and how you developed it, doesn't mean that they know it. Maybe you put a lot of effort to make this system ultra optimized, okay? Maybe the feature is actually fine, but the optimization is crazy, okay? Show them this optimization. Say that you worked not on this feature, you worked on the optimization of this feature, okay? You can send over the code. Typically, they don't watch the code so much, by the way, okay? It's not efficient to watch the code. Unless you're in a pretty advanced stage already, but send it nonetheless, okay? Show that, well, that you can, that you're not ashamed of that code, right? And explain a bit in English, like what goes on there, okay? So I spent this and this optimization, blah, 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 time on an optimization, and the results are, for example, instead of taking 500 milliseconds, mute your microphone, please. Okay, thank you. Instead of spending 500 milliseconds on calculating something, it spends 20 milliseconds. That's the result. Okay, so you show the code, but you also say what's the actual results of that. Next, charisma matters a bit. Okay, nobody hires developers for charisma. You're not a salesperson. Yeah, you don't sell stuff. It's fine, unless you're being interviewed for a leader position, when charisma matters more. But still, nobody hires developers for charisma, really. But it does matter, because you're speaking to an interviewer, you're selling yourself, you're trying to persuade the company that actually it's worth to work with you, right? So it matters. Spend a bit time on that. At least fix your charisma problems. Ask people around, how can you be a bit more charismatic? What's your main mistake in charisma? Maybe you're interrupting people when they're talking. Maybe you're yelling a lot, okay? Maybe you have bad vision like me, and you're starting to, to close your eyelids a bit to see better, but it looks like you're angry all the time, So you're not really angry. You're just trying to see them better, but people may not understand that. So maybe try to make a different facial expression or wear glasses. Anyway, so disclaimer, no vegetables were hurt in the footage. Next, portfolio should be short. 7 seconds is actually a result of a study. When interviewers look at your CV, okay, CV is curriculum vitae. It's your pretty much the page, the document that speaks about who you are, right? Your main document. When they look on your CV, they typically look for 7 seconds, maybe less than that, sometimes more, but on average, 7 seconds is the time you have to sell yourself. They're not gonna read all the text you have there, okay? So the portfolio should be short. When I say portfolio, I mean really the CV and the portfolio. Portfolio is your the works that you present, right? So it should also be short. 7 seconds is for CV, not really for the portfolio itself. Portfolio, people spend more time looking at it because in specifically in game industry, your portfolio is the best benchmark of what you can produce. So because of that, it's more likely that they will spend a bit more time on that. But still, it's good to remember that they're not gonna look on all of your portfolio or all of your CV. They're not gonna read it. They're spending minimum time because they have so many candidates. They don't have time to read everything, and they're not interested in reading everything. They just look at the keywords. Okay, so what's there? Unreal, okay, this is this. Oh, it lacks Maya, and I need Maya for this position. Okay, rejected, you know? That's how it works. And I can say it first-handed. I do it. I do it as well. I don't have time to go over 100 candidates and read all their letters and all their portfolio. I don't have time for that, and I don't need to do it, okay? I have more important things to do. So, and your interviews will also, right? Next, relevant stuff only. So, with the connection to the previous point, we want to only display the relevant stuff, okay? So, for example, if you're experienced in horse riding and you have 30 years of experience in horse riding and you're applying for concept art position, nobody cares that you have horse riding experience unless you're getting interviewed to a company which makes a horse riding game, for example, right? So remove it. Present only the stuff that is actually relevant to the position that you're applying for, okay? You can even modify it for different companies that you apply. You apply to, let's say, 10 companies, and you see that each company has different requirements. You can actually modify the portfolio that you send to each one of them. So they have the best experience they can have, right? It's like when you go to eat shawarma in a shawarma shop, right? They ask if you want spice or not, right? So if it fits you, if you want spice, you say yes. Otherwise, you don't, right? You can choose. I want salad. I want hummus here. I want this and this and this and blah blah blah, right? So you have your ideal shawarma, right? You have your preference. So they also have their preference. You can't ask them for that. You can guess it, though, from looking at the position requirements. Next, be realistic, okay? So if you are not good in some skill, don't say you're good. If you're medium in that, say you're medium. That's fine. Be fair, be realistic. No need to bloat it up, okay? I will give you a secret. If I have, let's say, 10 candidates, and 9 of them will mention that some skill is amazing. They're amazing, let's say, in Unreal Engine, and one guy will say that he's medium level on Unreal Engine. It's by no means it's an auto reject for him. Like he's the bottom 10%. Like he's the top worst candidate by by skills, right? No, it's not, because when they say that they're awesome, what do they mean by awesome? When he says that he's middle, right, average, what does he mean by that? We don't know. We want to know the personality of that person to actually understand what he means. Maybe he's very good, but he has bad self-esteem, you know? It's not a sign, but it means that he is honest or humble, versus people that are saying, I'm amazing. Then you're looking at their job and their work, and it's fine, okay? It's fine. It's not awesome by any means, you know? It happens so often. So, with that being said, too good equals bad, okay? Don't be too good. Be just realistic. Design of the CV, by the way, just really, there are so many tools online for that. Very easy to find. 99% of the candidates, really 99% of the candidates we got, for example, they have fine design of the CV. So please don't do Google Docs, okay? Sometimes I receive from newbies CV in like Google Docs or README in TXT file, something. Please don't do it. Please use the free online tools or whatever you want to use. There are plenty. Okay, a few non-development skills, guys. There is English, of course. If you're listening to that, then good job, you already have some English. You may consider to improve that better because, well, it improves your chances of getting hired. Again, the industry is international, so you need to know English. Sorry, that's the reality of the world. You need to have English, at least a bearable one, at least bearable. Better to have good English because you're gonna do communications with the team and nobody wants to re-explain and re-explain and re-explain and re-explain to you because you can't understand them, or re-ask you and re-ask you and re-ask you. It's waste of time. Waste of time means waste of money for the company. It means that they pay for you more than they pay you. So they pay you salary, but they have additional expense that they would not have with a person with good English. So please work on improving your English. I will not say how. We have a lesson, recorded lesson on that in the website as well. Next. Bonus, more languages. So actually, it matters much, much, much less than English, but it still matters. Okay, so if you, for example, know French, okay, what does it matter? So it matters because there are some companies with French staff, maybe purely French team, for example, or French speaking, I would say, okay, not French, French speaking. It means that they would give you a few kudos when they interview you because you're fitting the team spirit a bit better, right? In particular, in jobs like, well, mentors, for example, teachers, languages are a big thing, right? Know that first-handed here. So it can also serve a role here. But please don't study foreign languages besides English just to improve your development compatibility, like compatibility with development positions. That's not worth it. Team logistics. So stuff like source control, stuff like backups, right? Code conventions, how you write your code. Art conventions and compliance with the art Bible or art documents, game design documents, stuff like this. Compliance with that, it all really matters, okay? All of that is skills that the employer also wants to have, ideally from the employee. Otherwise, he or she, whatever, the employers, they will potentially invest time and resources in teaching you that. But if you already come with that prepared, it matters a lot. And you can't be a mid-level or a senior without knowing that, okay? Only juniors don't know such stuff, okay? So if you want to surpass the junior level, you must know team logistics, okay? It's not only about development, it's about being part of the team. You are part of the team, If you have a battery and you want to connect this battery to some electrical device, the battery is useless if you don't have a proper connection, a proper cable, So team logistics are the cable between your battery and the outer world, whatever. Soft skills. So stuff like politeness, positivity, calmness, really, this also matters a lot because this is just actually part of logistics, but the interpersonal logistics, right? Not the technical logistics, but the logistics with people. Nobody wants to be around an angry, always nervous person, negative person. That's not what they are looking for. They have their lives, they have their negativity, don't need your negativity as well. Be polite, be positive, be calm, be chill, okay? Work on that. Again, ask for feedback from your friends, from your family. Ask for feedback, ask how you can be better from your GameReady mentor, by the way. Also a big thing. Why not? We can give you a lot of input about this. Being a user, also very important, guys. So this is an underrated one. If you are applying to work in, let's say, a company for shooter games, okay? They develop shooter games. Are you actually a shooter player? Are you actually playing shooter games? If you're not, it doesn't mean that you won't get hired. No, it doesn't mean. You still can contribute value, okay? But if you are playing, it means that you can bring some extra value because you can give ideas on something you liked in other games you played. You can see what doesn't work, what does work, and you can give your feedback. You can be kind of a consultant for the team, right? Not a big consultant, but still somewhat partially a consultant. And not repeat obvious mistakes, okay? To a point that if it's first time, like, you're developing something that you never use, it's the first time you're actually getting in touch with such a topic or sub industry. Okay, let's say that you're working on a Lego game and you never played Lego. There are kids, literally kindergarten, that will know that you're making a mistake because they played Lego and you didn't. And you can be a 50 years old guy, okay, with a lot of life experience and a lot of development experience, and you will do this mistake because you didn't play Lego, but they did, okay? You're developing Lego, please go and play Lego. Even if you don't like Lego, please go and play a bit of Lego, okay? So being a user is a big thing. It doesn't mean that you must become a new user. No, just take into account when you're looking for which company you want to actually seek employment in, is it actually fitting what you're doing? Is there a product actually a product for you as a customer as well? You know, that's the best position to be in, and it improves your chances to get hired into the company, because what I just told you, interviewers know this. They know this. Okay. Next, development skills. Just a few. So get good. I can't really give you so many tips here that will be applicable to everyone, because it's one by one basis. It's really unique per person. If you want to get hired in general, you just need to get good. Okay, everyone has their own drawbacks. Everyone has their own missing skills. Okay, get good is the general thing. How to get good? Well, ask for feedback, ask your mentor what you're missing, right? And just think for yourself what actually you can't develop right now, what you can't contribute to the team. Okay, think about the value you're going to contribute to the company you're applying for. Be unique. Okay, so again, this is quite general. I'm not gonna get into details here, because we're gonna get stuck here for 5 years if I'm gonna get to the details. So be unique. Just as we already spoke about it, not gonna get into details of uniqueness and rarity. We already spoke about it, right? But be unique. You will improve your chances of getting hired. I remind it. Shrink your competition to maximize your uniqueness. So the more competition you have, the less unique you are by definition, okay? So if you see that a lot of people are doing what you're doing, it means that you're not looking into the unique direction. Doesn't mean that you're wrong. Doesn't mean that you absolutely must be unique. No, but it's serving you a good purpose, okay? If possible, try to get at least 1 or 2 niche skills that you will be in the top 1% of all the developers in. Okay? Next, yeah. Okay. So do's and don'ts. A few tips, few practical tips, guys. So first, hygiene, dress, makeup, please. Dressed for success. If makeup is applicable for you, please do put it. Hygiene, big thing for people, okay? Nobody wants to have connection or tight connection with people that are just, junkies and don't care about how they look at all. It doesn't mean that you should be beautiful. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, guys. Like, there is a person, Dan Ariely, okay? Like, half of his face is burned. He's scarred, okay? So what? He's doing good hygiene. He dresses politely, right? He doesn't need makeup. It's fine. He doesn't do anything with his scar, okay? He's looking good. It doesn't matter that he's beautiful, not beautiful. It's not applicable. The thing is that he cares. He cares that the people would get good sense with him, okay? It's not about being beautiful. It's about just being professionally good, looking in a sense of being organized, okay? That's a big thing. bigger than people think. Okay, interviewer will never tell you anything. They will never reject you and say we rejected you because you're ugly or because you didn't put a makeup on. No, of course no. Not about. By the way, for girls, it's not about the makeup for girls and for some boys. It's not about makeup as much as it is about just looking fine, okay? Washing your face and stuff, like being actually appropriately looking, okay? Next, don't prepare answers. Interviewers will know it. They will feel that you prepared answers. If you don't know answers to questions, if you're getting tricked by questions, it's the first time you hear this question, and you're like, how didn't I prepare for that? I didn't know that they're gonna ask me that. It's fine. Interviewer will see that you are not prepared. It's fine. It's good for you because it's living proof that you're not experienced in having interviews. And it's good not being experienced in having interviews, because if you're experienced in having interviews, means that you did a lot of them. And why did you do a lot of them exactly? Because companies are not accepting you, right? So the more companies are rejecting you, the more risky it is to actually accept you, because hey, they spotted something that I didn't, you know? So you don't want to give this vibe of, I'm a professional interviewee. That's not what you want. That's not the vibe that you want to give out, right? You want to be legit, be real, be a person, okay? Be honest with them. They value honesty. We value honesty, okay? I'm an interviewer as well. Clean your room. Do clean your room, okay? Same as hygiene. You see, behind stuff laying around, you see some dirty clothes or something? None, right? Nothing is distracting. It doesn't have to be beautiful, but it's not distracting at the very least. It means that I care, okay? Actually, behind the scenes, I can tell you that before coming to this session, I had a few cables laying down in my office here because I needed to connect something, blah, 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 okay? Now, it's not in the screen view, right? You will not see it. Like, you don't know if there are cables or not, but I know that there are none because I cleaned them up. Why? Not because I care about cleanliness. It's because I want to be organized. I don't want them to get in my way. If I'm absolutely having to be late by, I don't know, 30 seconds for some reason, I don't want to stumble upon the cables and be late because of that. No, that's just eliminate that, be organized, okay? Next. So, don't be late. Okay, that's a pretty obvious one, but don't be late. It's a big thing. Why? It's a big thing, maybe bigger than you think. This is because, yeah, we are all humans and we can be late sometimes. This is fine. This is acceptable. But what are the odds that in the interview, which is the most important meeting arguably in your process of, in general, your relation with the company, actually, even after you're getting employed, all the meetings you will have after that are probably less impactful than the interview you'll have. It's literally the single most impactful meeting. And you're being late to that one. Even though you should be caring the most about this interview, you're being late to that, right? Doesn't mean that you won't be late for the next meetings when you're already employed. Maybe. Yeah, maybe. But that's a negative point. For the risk management of the companies, they are going to consider, he was late, maybe he will be late again. If you're late 2 times, many companies will just blacklist you. Not reject, blacklist you. They will never even consider hiring you again, even in 5 and from 10 years from now. They don't want to deal with you, you know? And yes, sometimes it may actually happen completely by accident. You may be a very responsible person. It may happen. And yes, you may get blacklisted. But the point is that if you're not, if it's really the case, it's an exception. So it will happen once. Okay, you will be blacklisted once. Okay, sure, no problem. There are more companies than that. Okay, cool. So don't be afraid of that, but please try your best not to be late. Come before the time, okay? By the way, not just to interviews, not just to interviews. In general, in meetings, if you're late, people trust you less. Next, choose a good day and time for the interview. If it's actually up to you, you can actually pick up the time from the interview. Choose a good day in which you're free, okay? Or free it up for the interview. Okay, maybe cancel something. You guys saw this pop-up of volleyball I had. Okay, I pushed it away. Okay, my bad, by the way. I didn't turn off the notifications there. I canceled it to have this meeting, and it's fine, right? It's okay. Like, why won't a person be able to cancel something for the interview? Yes, there are more important things than interviews as well, right? Of course. You won't cancel your own wedding for the interview. It's fine, it's okay. Or your close friend's wedding for the interview. It's okay. Just don't pick a bad day ahead of time, okay? Take a free day. Take free time. Time that is not between two other meetings and you're squeezing it in. No. Take a time in which you'll have actually the spare breather. You know, you have time before to relax. You have time after that to relax. That in this situation you will be in your best state of mind when you come to the interview. Next, don't selfie it while you're driving and walking or whatever. Don't selfie interviews, please. Okay, use web camera or whatever. Connect your. I'm actually shooting this from Android. Okay, I actually connected my Android phone through cable to the computer, and I'm streaming that from Android. Okay, to have better video quality. So you can also do that even if you don't have web camera. You have an Android, okay, or iPhone or whatever. You have it, okay. So you can arrange something. Don't selfie it, please, okay? Because if you're selfieing, it's like it's not serious, you know. It's same as being in a dirty room. And even if, again, interviewers, they will typically not tell you anything about that. They will not tell you, hey, why are you selfieing or something, or we rejected you because you're selfieing. They will not tell you why they rejected you typically. Most of the times they won't. If they do, thank them, by the way. It's very important data to receive from them. Anyway, so just don't. Okay, and if exceptionally, if you're driving and you're doing an interview while you're driving, that's absolutely not respecting. Like, why? Okay, if you're late, you're being late, and you say, sorry, I'm so sorry, I connected now, I know that this is the time, I'm still stuck in traffic and whatever. Okay, cool. Could you please bear with me? I will be at home in 15 minutes. We can do it meanwhile, or I could connect in 15 minutes from now. Is it fine with you? This is a much better approach than just connecting and like, hey, yeah, I'm driving, I'm in traffic. Yeah. Happened to me, by the way. I had such candidates. It's real. Speaking from real experience. Yeah, and the best is to avoid it by choosing a good day and time. So you won't have a potential to be stuck in traffic, okay? Next, research the company. Okay, so do some basic research on the company you're interviewing for. Understand what they're producing. Understand their size. Anything that is available online. You don't need to overdo the research, okay? But if you do some basic research, it already shows them that you care. Okay? It already shows them that you're not just applying to 1,000 companies by some automation, by some online bot or something. You're actually applying to their job because you actually want to work there. Okay? You actually dedicated some time for it. Next, do not lie to apply. Be realistic, okay? Same as with not preparing answers. Do not lie. If you're lying, it's not only that they will probably see that you're lying, even if, you know what? Even if they don't spot that you're lying, and they're very good in spotting that, by the way, and they will not tell you that they spotted it. Okay, but even if they didn't, do you want to carry on this lie later on when you're actually employed in the company? You probably don't. It's gonna hurt you in the long run much, much, much more than the benefit, virtual benefit that it will do. Yeah. If you need to lie to get accepted to the position, then you don't fit the position. Then why are you entering the job? You should not enter it. You will get hurt from this as much as the company itself. You're shooting everybody, like you're taking them with you down, taking them down with you. Don't do it. Just don't lie. Be sincere. By the way, about your negatives as well, it's fine. Everybody have negatives. It's okay. You don't need to tell the full truth, of course. It's fine. You don't need to get into all the details of everything. But at least don't lie. Next, plan on how you can contribute your top value to them. So, same as you do the research, right? You want to understand what value can you produce for them. So you understood them. Now think about what chemistry you can do between you, right? What connection you can do, how you can connect between what you produce and what they require, your supply and their demand, right? Plan your value and understand how you can connect it to them. So this way, when you're actually getting interviewed, and even before, you can send them a letter. We have a slide about that, but in the letter you can actually mention something specific that you can provide to them, that you believe that they will benefit from, and they will see it and they will understand that you actually did your research, you did your homework, right? Okay, so role of the interviewer: finding a match in both directions. Okay, so interviewer, as opposed to what many people think, interviewer is not only acting in the interest of the company, he also acts in the interest of the candidates. Of course, they are mainly acting primarily in the interest of the company, first of all. Does it mean that your opponents, that you're trying to win a battle against them and they're defending or something? No, because an employment is an act of partnership. And the partnership is healthy only when both sides are satisfied. If one side is not satisfied, it will backfire on the other side. If the company is treating the employees poorly, the employees will not be satisfied and will not produce good value for the company, so the company will also not be satisfied. It's in the company interests to behave correctly, to treat its employees on a good manner. Okay, so that was just one example, right? But if the company sees that you're not fitting the position, interviewer sees that you don't fit the position, it protects the company by not employing someone who doesn't fit, but it also protects you from getting onboarded, wasting your time to just get fired or sued for that. It's not in your interests either, right? So it's either both of you are satisfied or none of you are satisfied. Okay? And the situation in which none of you are satisfied is not the situation of not getting hired. No. The situation in which none of you are satisfied is actually when you are getting hired, but you are a bad candidate for the company. Or the company is a bad candidate for you, right? So it's both ways. If the company rejects you, that's actually good, but we'll talk about it in the next slide. Anyway, here we go. So rejection is actually good. And what does it mean? If a company rejects you, it means that it spared you a lot of headache and waste of time and potentially even money if you get sued again, so stuff like that. Okay, let's not get into this. So anyway, it's much better than getting hired to a place that you won't be staying in long term. So rejection is good, accept it. Try to make the most out of it. So learn your lessons, try to think why they rejected you. And if you can ask them why, For example, they rejected you, but you had good chemistry with them, you had good communication, you can ask, hey, I absolutely understand why you rejected me. Sorry, no, I absolutely accept it. That's completely fine. Could you please give me, for example, don't tell me the reason of rejection. Just could you give me a tip for improvement? Something like that, They will typically give you, if it's a good workplace that actually cares about itself long term, they will typically give you a tip, right? So it's good. It's for your own improvement. If you take it out of them, right? If you actually care about improvement, then you can create this improvement potential. He is likely under pressure. So when do companies hire people? They hire people either all year round, passively, then they're not under much pressure, or they are hiring actively because someone left and they need suddenly a person, or they suddenly need to expand, or they have some new needs and they suddenly need a person. They are under pressure because they are interviewing a lot of people in the same round, okay? And even if they're hiring all year round, they can collect applicants, and then they get back to many of them in bulk, in one go, to many candidates, okay? Now, they are under immense pressure, okay? Understand that and respect that. It's a human. Interviewer is a human. Bribe it. Don't. But we can utilize cover letters, so we can actually send them custom letters, and they will many times read it, and because they're humans, it will of course make some better chemistry between you, and they might prioritize you, and they will typically prioritize you. Okay, so in a few moments we'll speak about cover letter a bit more, but first, interview preparation. Okay, so act or be yourself. Absolutely be yourself, as I spoke in the slide about. Don't lie to apply, okay? Be yourself. Be your best self, by the way. Work on improvement yourself. Don't work on acting. Work on how you can improve yourself so you can present your real self in a better light. Interviewers are pros in reading candidates. Don't try to fool them around. They are more experienced than you in interviews. They conduct many more interviews than you attend, okay? And you are under the nerves when you're getting interviewed. It's your fate, not their fate, Maybe partially their fate, but they care a bit less than you care, so you're more nervous. So automatically they are better in reading you than you are in reading them or hiding from them something. Cover letter. So write something personal, right? Not just some generic copy pasta from ChatGPT or something. Actually write something personal. Don't use ChatGPT for that. Okay, maybe consult with ChatGPT to ask his opinion, but don't let ChatGPT write it for you. Okay, something personal. So research the company, understand what they're doing, and you can, if you resonate with them, you can say about how you resonate with them. Don't make it up. Don't lie to apply, right? But say something personal of that you won't tell to a different company. You tell it to specifically them. Okay, they feel it. It's optional, okay? Cover letters are, most often, they're optional, but most people are not doing it. But we are doing it, okay? Because we want to get applied. We want to apply and we want to get accepted, right? So we are doing it. Super duper effective, guys. So you will see yourself in the next slide. 95% of candidates do not submit a cover letter. Only 5% of candidates submit a cover letter when it's optional. Take a moment. 5%. 95%, so 19 out of 20 people, they apply just like bots without sending any cover letter. They don't research the company, or they research and they don't do anything with that knowledge that they got. They don't submit cover letters. It means that from 100 people that apply to a role, if you wrote a cover letter, you are already in the 5%, top 5% of the most hardworking employee candidates for the interviewer to even consider. You have a very high chance to be the priority candidate just because of submitting a cover letter. Doesn't matter what length it has and what contents it has. Just the mere fact that you submitted it. Okay? Of course, making a better letter is better. Yeah, next. Follow up and be patient. So there's some time already passed since you applied, okay? You can remind them. Just remind them that you applied once. No need more than that, okay? Be patient. Think what makes sense according to what you saw about them. Follow up. Just send, hey, just making sure I applied, and I would I would enjoy very much working with you or something. Be sincere, right? Don't let me rephrase it for you. Think, what actually do you feel towards that company, right? Write something sincere, and don't push on them, okay? Respect their pressure they are under, right? Or their decisions. Maybe they're not really hiring right now. They hired someone. It's fine, okay? The fact that you follow up, that did you follow up, already makes you a priority candidate, because they see, okay, this person cares more. It looks like he probably doesn't apply to 1,000 companies, because he wouldn't send the follow-up to 1,000 companies, right? So even if they would not accept you just because of that, even if they don't reply you on that follow-up, you might get tagged as a priority candidate for next times. Next, and this is, guys, this one is the most important slide. The secret is your mentality, okay? I would say that 80% of the result of everything I'm talking about in this presentation, it's here. Secret is your mentality. Your behavior, guys, is a mirror of your mentality. Healthy mentality is, first of all, nobody owes you anything. And when I say anything, I mean anything. Nobody owes you anything. The interviewer or the company, in general, people around you, but let's speak specifically about interviewers in the company. They don't owe you anything. The fact that you applied and you spent your time to apply doesn't mean that they owe you any reply or any explanations or anything. You did it because you want to get employed, right? And you get the chance. That's it. They give you the chance. That's the transaction. They don't owe you anything extra, okay? So interview, response, explanation, nothing. They owe you nothing, okay? Be thankful for everything. That's another aspect of the mentality. And I'm not speaking about like, thank you so much, dear sir, for providing me this absolutely best opportunity of my life. No, that's not the point. The point is, appreciate what they're actually doing. They don't owe you anything, so if they do something for you, it's already extra. Appreciate it. You know, they responded, it's not a given. They could not respond to you. Especially if they reject you, by the way. They might just reject you and that's it. That's fine. Without writing to you anything. If they rejected you and actually wrote to you that they rejected you, you can say thanks for that. You know? Or don't, but at least develop this habit of being thankful for the fact that they got the extra mile for you. You know, if you develop this mentality, your behavior will change. Even if you don't get hired to this particular company, it doesn't matter. It's your mentality. It's your inner self changing. And this radiates to outer world. People feel your mentality. If they met you, same, appreciate it. Consider being thankful. They explain you something you asked. Consider being thankful. Anything they do, consider being thankful. Consider it. Just consider it. Okay? And, you know, be genuine. Genuinely thank the universe or the nature or God. You know, if you are being thankful and you appreciate things that happen to you, you're being humble and you're being respecting, automatically being respecting towards the people around you. And you cannot fake it. Okay? You cannot. What I'm talking to you about right now, this is my attempt to actually affect your mentality if you're not in that mentality right now. Only better things start happening to you when you accept this mentality. you stop being disappointed in people. And people are also starting to behave nicer to you because they feel that you appreciate what they're doing. If you are really. So, people want to speak with you and do business with you because you appreciate them, right? Nothing magical in that, by the way. Nothing spiritual, nothing magical. It's just, being thankful is being realistic. Because if you make a law, don't kill, okay? If a person murders someone, he goes to jail. Does that mean that people will not kill, will not murder? No. Laws, people break laws. You can't drive more than 80 kilometers per hour here. People will still do that. There's consequences, right? So if someone behaves, that's good to have. That's a good situation. It's not granted, though. Next, responsibility, guys, is control. If you take responsibility, you take control. As simple as that. So, if you're running from responsibility, you will not get control. Now, I'm not speaking about it like, being a control freak is good. No, it's not the point. The point is that if you want to have higher control of your own life, you should take more responsibility. You want to be promoted to a higher position in a company, which means you have more control, but it comes with the responsibility that you take, okay? Which means growth also. Responsibility equals control equals growth. That's how you grow. By taking more control over your life, okay? Ask for feedback. This is one more thing. So, if you're asking for feedback and not just judging for yourself what are your mistakes, this way you can grow much faster because people see you from outside better than you see yourself inside. So ask for feedback. From mentoring GameReady, sure, they know you pretty well. If they are teaching you one-on-one, or one-on-two, small group, they know you pretty well. You can ask them for feedback. You can ask also your peers, your friends, people in the community, and listen to their feedback. Not just asking them, listening to it. Even if it sounds unrealistic, if it sounds like it's bad feedback, sounds like, hey, that's not me. Like, you just described someone that is not me. How, why do you say that? Shut up. Just listen, accept, and say thank you for the feedback. Even if you don't resonate with it, even if you're not going to change yourself because of this particular feedback, but maybe you will receive it numerous times from different people, and each time you'll be shocked that people tell it to you, but still you say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. But after 5 times, you're like, maybe they are right and I am wrong. Because there are many, right? And they don't owe you feedback, by the way. So thank them for giving you feedback because they don't owe you feedback. Even if the feedback is not correct. Sometimes you are right and they are wrong, by the way. It also might happen, right? Less often, but it might happen. Quality versus quantity. Apply to more companies or to less companies. So apply to less companies, to fewer companies. That's the answer, because applying to fewer companies, you can actually research them better. You can write better cover letters. You can spend better time communicating with them, and this way you will just find employment better and also in a better company, because you are actually dedicating more efforts with each one of them. You're developing better connection with them. Interview the company yourself, also an important thing. So if you don't interview the company, if you don't ask the interviewer questions about the company itself, don't ask many, by the way. No, ask maybe 1/10 of what he asks you, okay? Don't, let him do his job, okay? His job is interviewing you, not answering your questions, okay? Well, partially it is his job to answer some of your questions, but not too much, okay? So by interviewing the company yourself, you understand if the place is for you. And also you show that you care to find a match, and you don't just, desperately, and not just desperately looking for a job and I will accept anything to just employ me, okay? That's good. it's actually a question that shows the interviewer that you're having some dedication. It's good. It's a good question to ask for everybody, because we say employment is a partnership, is a double-sided benefit or double-sided defeat. Okay. A few examples of real rejected cases that I have rejected, real people that I rejected. I won't give names here, of course. So once I had a person that actually got triggered by one of the personal questions out of, I believe, 200-300 people that got the same exact question, only he got triggered. Okay. He didn't ask to skip the question. He just started blaming. Why are you asking me that? Who are you to ask me that? You know, that's personal. In what world the interviewer would say, "Oh, sorry, sir, please. Yeah, I didn't mean to offend you, so let's continue the interview." What? No. The hell with you. See you later. Never. Okay, blacklisted. Absolutely blacklisted from the network, and even letting know the partners that, hey, don't employ this guy if he any time applies to your place. No, we don't want to work with freaks. Okay, if a person gets triggered in the interview, it means that he can't control himself. Okay, the person has mental issues. He has to work on himself or not, but we will not employ him. Next, many people were fakely too good, overprepared. We spoke about it. I rejected many of them, so many of them, because they were just not sincere. I tried to get sincerity out of them, and I just couldn't. Everything I asked, they have been prepared. You know? Of course, at some point, I asked them a question which cracks the nut, and suddenly they can't answer, and then you see the truth emerging. Because again, interviewers are good in their thing. They interview so many people, okay? But with some people, I didn't even need to crack the nut. I just understood that that's not a person for our company. I don't need to crack the nut. I see that the person isn't sincere. I don't need insincere people here teaching our students. I don't need such people. Don't want them. Sorry, one more I have actually. So there was a noob that asked for a unrealistic salary. A giant salary that just absolutely out of proportion. Okay, absolutely out of proportion. And we said, no, sorry, like, see you. Sorry, we can't. He then started to negotiate with us salary which is 4 times lower. So he cut down his initial number by 4 times. 4 times. Not 30% or 40%. Okay? 75%. Now, what does it tell you about the person? It's insincerity. But the person gives you a large number just to try to squeeze everything from you, or to negotiate downwards, but from such a big number to such a low number. Actually, the number he cut down was actually lower than what we provide typically. Lower than what we provide. So from being considerably higher, he got to be lower. So like, why wouldn't we hire him? That's good. It's actually profitable for us, right? No. Insincerity. No thanks. That's not serious. Rejected. Bam. And before we finish up, we have a small bonus. How to get better salary when you're already in the place. Okay. How to get better salary. Kudos to all the GameReady employees that are watching this. So anyway, give better value, first of all. If you provide better value, the company is, well, compatible with paying you more because you produce more, you know. You buy more apples, you pay more money, right? The person sells more apples, he can get paid more. or better apples. Continuous learning. Okay, so education doesn't stop when you get hired. Education stops when you die. Read books, study new material, do courses, follow up industry updates, look up methods, how to improve stuff that you're seeing that you're not doing in the best way possible. Continuous learning. That's how you provide better value, okay? Peer reviews and consultations. So friends, other people in GameReady, in other communities, take consultations, sometimes paid consultations. If you're already employed, you have already a source of income, you can take consultations as well, right? I take paid consultations. And this way you can understand what you're lacking. Again, so you can provide better value. We're here for you guys. So even after the graduation, we're here. You can experiment with new approaches, can make new approaches up. You can utilize the community here. You can consult us. You need to study some new topics, perhaps topics that were released after you graduated. We can cover them for you. You want to relearn something. You want to get feedback from us, consultations from us. We're here, okay? Even after you graduate, we're here to help you. So guys, dear listeners, instead of wishing you success, I gave you the formula for success. Follow it, and you already will be in the top 1% of the candidates naturally. Or don't follow it. We still have the recording. You can rewatch the recording later on if you will change your mind. But just by following this formula, you already put yourself in the top tier of the candidates for every job that you will apply for. It doesn't mean that you will absolutely get hired to all the jobs. No, you will still get rejected from most of the jobs. This is fine. This is how it works, okay? Typically, you don't get hired from the first attempt. Not necessarily because of your fault. Not necessarily. But with using this formula, and especially the mentality part, you pretty much set yourself for getting employed, because there is a high demand in people with good mentality, absolutely immensely high demand for people with good mentality and good set of mind. And they are in shortage. There is a very low supply of such people. Most of the candidates are trash. Not saying that most people are trash. No, most applications from people are trash applications. They're not bothering to fill it correctly. That they don't write cover letters. They don't present the portfolio, anything. Okay, you would be so much surprised to see which kind of applicants I saw in, applicants for GameReady, applicants for other studios that we work with, to all kinds of companies, not only in game industry, by the way. Most of them are always trash applications. Don't be a trash application. Be the top tier application. You will be in the top 1% of the candidates. That's very, very real. Even if you're junior, by the way. One more thing by the way, forgot to mention, so I will mention. If you're junior, doesn't mean that you won't get accepted to the job, right? There is a demand in juniors. There is a demand in mid-levels. There is a demand in seniors. It's different demands, okay? Just see what your value you provide. If you provide junior value, that's junior value. If you provide mid-level value, cool. Senior value, cool. Yeah. They might hire one senior and one junior because that's what they're looking for, right? Okay. So guys, we will shortly proceed to questions and answers. The recording will be available for you to rewatch. The questions and answers also will be included in the recording, so I'm still not stopping the recording. And besides, we appreciate that you fill our feedback quiz to help us make the workshops even better in future. And we will post the link in the channel chat right after this session. Okay, so let's get to the chat. See if we have something. You guys can unmute the microphones, by the way, it's fine. So I see a question here from Alon. I heard a lot about absurd requirements from companies and game development companies alike on the internet, such as requiring a lot of years under the belt and or absurd tests that you need to pass. What do you think about the topic? Um, hold on 1 second. Aaron, no problem. Sure, take care. You can see the recording later on for the questions and answers. No problem. So, yeah, Alon, for your question, it's really a few questions. So let's address it. Absurd tests and absurd requirements. I will answer it by referring to the mentality. So if you have the mentality of someone owes me, it's very easy to think about it as an absurd requirement. Okay. By the way, I don't say that there are no absurd requirements. There are. Okay, there are absurd requirements as well. But if you look at it as they don't owe me anything, and by the way, I don't owe them anything as well, right? It's bidirectional. If you look at it this way, you don't care anymore. If they give absurd requirements, they will have hard time finding applicants or filling the job. It's their problem. It's not your problem. You're not them. It's them. They are going to have a shortage in people as a result of that, or not. If they're not, it means that the requirements are not absurd, right? It means that if they find people with such requirements, it means that it makes sense to post such requirements. Now, what's an absurd requirement is a requirement that hurts the company's ability to actually find good people for the job. That's absurd. But this is their problem, not your problem. It's your problem if you're interviewing people, and if you're hiring, that's your problem then. Okay. And absurd tests. So about this, I will actually reply a bit separately. Absurd tests. If the company requires from you to spend a lot of time and efforts, or even potentially even money, resources on doing a test for them, you can. I wouldn't recommend it though, because it's like I know that we can hire people without testing them so hardly on without, we don't need it from them to test them correctly. If they require it from you, means that something is wrong with the HR there, okay, potentially. Or there are just so many candidates that enough of them are ready to pass through such tests in a way that maybe it's not worth your time. So many candidates, and so much effort you need to do. What's the odds that they will actually accept you to the job? Pretty low, you know. You may still apply, but if you have better options, do the better options, you know. Hope I answered your question. By the way, feel free to unmute, and you can actually follow up now and tell me what you think about the answer if you have any follow-up question, Alan. What could you specify, please, something that you would like to maybe hear a more specific answer from me on? Okay, feel free to reach out to me later on, no problem. Eyal asks, where can I find the recording? We will post about it after the session. And anybody has any more questions, guys? We have also, yeah, it was the chat Q&A, and we have also the live Q&A if someone wants to ask some questions. I'll take it as a compliment that the presentation was clear. Yeah, sure, go ahead. Who's speaking? Oh, Alan. Okay, what's the question?
any other job because we are from a certain country and there are a lot of controversy, a lot of talks about what's going on in the world. Like
Mm. A valid question, yes. So, do I understand you correctly that your question is mainly about the potential discrimination that you might face?
yeah,
Okay, good question. If how do you get past discrimination? If someone discriminates you, how do you get past it? You just reject yourself. You just say, "Sorry, I'm not interested." Like, good luck. I'm out. Okay, so you don't want to get employed in such a company that discriminates, because okay, so you'll get hired, and what's then? You know, you're gonna get awful experience in the best case scenario. You're gonna get kind of, well, best case scenario, you're gonna get fired and you can finally leave and go to a better place. That's really the best case scenario. Just don't get employed in such a place. Is there a lot of discrimination? I wouldn't say, because good places to work in, they just know better than discriminate. They don't hire you by discrimination. It's not what they are here for. If they are getting so personal as to discriminate based on any background, well, they hurt themselves by that. You don't want to work in such a company. Such a company is probably not a serious company in general. Even not for you, even for someone that they don't discriminate. Okay, even for them, it will be a bad place to work in, because a place that discriminates is just a place that is not serious. It means that they are unstable. That's a hint. That's a big red hint, flag, let's say. Are there many such places? I don't know. I don't think so, though. I didn't get the vibe. I don't think that there are so many places such as this. I don't think that there is a problem. I didn't hear people complaining, particular from Israel or any other country. I didn't see people complaining that they get rejected because they are of certain nationality or certain gender, or no. Game development industry is also a pretty progressive industry, so it's not conservative so much. So um, really, people only care about value, mostly care about value, and having a good time together. They don't care about race or religion so much in game development industry, as opposed to some other industries, of course.
I have a question.
Sure, go ahead. Yes, Eyal.
Where would I find job posts? Like, where would I apply?
You mean where can you actually find potential jobs to apply for?
Yes, yes.
Hmm. Good question. That's not for me, because I don't apply to jobs. Okay, I focused on this presentation to speak about how you can do it the best way, and to give you this perspective of an interviewer and how an interviewer looks and the interviewees. Now, specifically about where to apply, though, there are platforms that work better, platforms that don't work so much. Um, our experience is mainly with our experience is with hiring, right? So we have knowledge of different platforms in which we hire. One of the best options is LinkedIn. It might be a bit different for the applying side, because applying to job is not the same experience as looking for candidates. For example, some platform might be very good for employers, but potentially even paid for the applicants. So it might be a bit asymmetrical, okay, or vice versa. Okay, some platforms are free for applicants and paid for the employees, and being paid, it may mean that it's less effective because it's costing money, or maybe it's actually more effective because you don't need to kill so much time, and you just pay a few bucks and you're good. It's very nice. Sometimes we pay for hiring people, and it works very well. So there are many parameters such as this, and they're different for both the sides. Okay, I can say LinkedIn works very well. It's a big platform, especially in the last few years. They improved their search engine and their compatibility with hiring. So you can find a lot of companies that are looking for employees through LinkedIn. So that's one. For specifically game development, Glassdoor, indeed. I don't remember. One of them was shut down, I believe, but both of them also are big platforms.
Then what kind of development side you got?
No, it's for any game development role. Really, it doesn't matter any of them.
Yeah. How this how it is called?
LinkedIn, Glassdoor, Indeed, such platforms. There are many, and really it changes over time. So I want this presentation to be kind of well, good for many years to come. So I want to really spend time on it right now. I will say that when you Google it up, really what you find in the first results is really what most of the people find in the first results. So what you're searching for in what you find is actually what other people find, what employers find as well, you know? Like if you're searching, for example, in Google, instead of searching for jobs online or something like this, or jobs game industry, you can actually search something like hire game industry, and you see what employers find, and you go to where employers are, you know. So on that, really plenty of information online also on what which platforms there are. You can just look what's most attractive right now with the pricing that is attractive right now. It changes so often that really making even a webinar just on that is, or posting something about it is just unreliable, because it's going to be outdated in a few months. Changes very fast. Something that works good now might not work in a month from now. Be dynamic. Not easy to find the postings. Being part of community, by the way, is a big thing. So in communities, when you see that there are posts, for example, in here in the GameReady community, you can see the gigs channel, right? So we post there sometimes, and we have a big priority to actually people who apply through this channel, rather compared to, for example, the same LinkedIn, Glassdoor, Indeed, and blah blah blah, right? So communities work very well as well. Closed communities especially work very well. Any more questions, guys? Okay, I see Liron asked, all jobs require at least 1 year of experience. How can you gain experience? Okay, a very good question. That's a very good question. When jobs say they require at least 1 year of experience, they don't really mean that they require 1 year of experience. They mean that they require value. They look for a person that gives value that is approximately the value that a person with 1 year of experience would give. Okay, it means that if you actually can prove that you can give them this value or a very similar value, you're getting past that filter very often, unless they're very bureaucratic and they're not just, you know, head in the wall. Okay, so if they're head in the wall and you can't just, they're completely inflexible, fine, probably you don't want to get employed in such a company again. You want to be a part of a more flexible, more caring company. Okay, so how do you prove that? Bring value, show portfolio. Okay, they care mostly about your portfolio. Show that you can produce value. If you're an artist, show your artwork. If you're a programmer, for example, show your code, and we already spoke about it in the slides. Besides that, yeah, just realize that what they say that they require is not absolutely what they require. Also, sometimes if you really cannot produce the value they are looking for, you can produce a lower value. You might, not necessarily, but you might be able to negotiate with them. For example, you know, to provide them, to say, hey guys, I can't provide this value you're looking for. I can provide a lower value, but I'm also I'm eager to work, for example, for a smaller salary until I get to this place that I can actually provide you this value. Okay, and then like apply me a raise. when you will see that it's the time for a raise, you know. Absolutely. In this way, you can reach the experience. Worst case scenario, you can work for free. I don't like that concept. I don't like the concept of working for free. Revenue share is a different thing. Revenue share, you don't work for free. You work for a revenue share, okay? You're actually getting percentage of the success of the game. But working just like, don't get anything, you don't get percentage of the income from the product sales, from the game sales, and you don't get salary, nothing. A bit fishy. At least a small salary, if the salary is lower than the minimum in your country, that's fine. You know, you want to get experience so you can prove your experience, so you can get higher salary. That's a fine investment, okay? If you're ready for that. If you're not, do your mathematics. You know, when I just started out as a programmer many years ago, I did freelancing, and I actually, you know, I worked for dirt. I mean, I worked for less than $1 for an hour, even for a few projects, for a few first projects that I got. You know, it was very absolutely a banger. You know, such a good deal for the employers. Yeah, they enjoyed it. Of course, I also was a good programmer already, but back then, by the way, I worked for dirt, not because I thought that that's my value. No, that's how I got to get a bigger salary. That's it. Or I could keep searching, and you know, while someone keeps searching for respecting, quote unquote, respecting hourly rate, I would already, you know, work for dirt, prove my experience, and get a good salary later on before him, you know? That's an option as well. Okay, guys. I will finish here because we really are getting to almost 2 hours mark. So if you'll have more questions, sure, ping me up, and I will answer it already in the chat later on tomorrow. Thank you very much, everybody. And okay, thanks, bye. Cheers.